Hey guys, so I know it's been a while and I'm sorry. Sorry, just looking at my piercing. I got these redone finally. I've been trying to do that for like 6 friggin' months, but I had to wait until my internship for school to ask like the people I'll be working for if those are acceptable before I went and got them redone. So, yeah. Um, I just washed my hair like an hour ago and I'm just kind of letting it air dry because I don't really do that a lot. Um, anyhow, it's been a while. I'm sorry. Had some stuff going on. Um, I posted a thing on my Facebook page a couple weeks back to talk about like where you stand as far as your definitions of different things when it comes to relationships, such as cheating, what your definition of intimacy is, how you feel about the whole, like, if you don't have a ring on your finger, um, then there's no harm in, you know, being with somebody else that you're not in your relationship with. Um, I guess, like, I don't know how to say it. Basically the whole no ring, no problem kind of thing. Um, and I also asked about, like, having friends of the opposite sex, like, how you feel about your partner, um, having friends of the opposite sex. And then what your relationship red flags are, basically. Um, so I'll tell you mine, I guess, and then we can I'll read you guys some of the stuff that I got back from people on my social media. Um and a lot of it seems to be like repetitive, I guess. I've heard it before from other people, including my own boyfriend, my own family, people that I see in person daily, and things like that. So, and some of the people had the same answers too. So, like, you know, for example, cheating, a lot of people define that as, keeping things from each other, as far as, like, say, like, you are friends with somebody of the opposite sex and you're constantly having like online chats with them, like through Facebook Messenger or Instagram messages and things like that, and your partner doesn't know. And, like, say you're on your phone texting these people and your partner's like, hey, who are you talking to? And you'd be like, oh, it's just my sister, when in reality it's like some random chick or random dude, whichever way you go. So, like, a lot of people have some of the same feelings. Um, so we'll start with the cheating. Um, Personally, I think the lying is really bad. Because if you don't have trust in your relationship, then there's a problem. Um, and it may not necessarily be something that you did or that the person you're with did. It could be as simple as a previous relationship has kind of caused you not to trust people, and so you're a lot like me. You're always waiting for the proverbial other shoe to drop. You're always waiting for that catch. Like, there's gotta be a catch to it somewhere. Like, nothing is that good. And so that kind of, to me, that's not really a trust issue. It's more of a, don't know how to say it. It's more of like a anxiety problem, maybe. I don't know. Um, so that's like my thing. To me, cheating is like telling your significant other, like, for example, say Mike were to call me and be like, hey, I have to work late, we're doing overtime. And in reality, he's at some chick's house, or he's at, say, a friend's house, which is never happening, but that's besides the point. Say he's actually at a friend's house hooking up with some chick because he knew there was a party, and he's like, hell yeah, I'm going to this party because I know so and so's going to be there, and I can see her and spend time with her, blah, blah, blah. To me, that's cheating because you are purposely telling your significant other that you're going to be in one place when you're really in another so that you can see somebody else. Like, that's cheating because you are trying to be with somebody else. Especially when it leads to like hooking up with said person, then you got a problem. People, I had a couple people say that they consider watching porn cheating. I don't know how that's cheating necessarily because they're watching it, they're not actually acting it out with somebody other than their partner. They're just watching it. Messaging the opposite sex without your partner knowing, dating and hooking up with other people, doing or saying things that you wouldn't say or do if your partner was present, sleeping with somebody that isn't your partner, obviously, and then lying and being unfaithful. So let's see. Watching porn, whatever. I mean, whatever. Just, I mean, everybody's got their thing, you know? Messaging the opposite sex without your partner knowing. I message guys all the time, and it's usually just like, hey, remember this, this, and this from high school? Like, it's people I know. Okay, I'm not on there trying to find guys to talk to get in their pants. I'm talking to guys that I already know. Most of the time it's people I grew up with, or like ones that I'm currently going to college with. A couple of them are Mike's friends, that live here in the neighborhood, and I'll be messaging them because he asked me to. Or, like one of his friends had messaged me saying, hey, I tried calling Mike. Can you relay this? Like, that's fine. But I'm not messaging his friends saying, hey, Mike's not going to be here this weekend. You won't come over? Like, that's fucked up. You don't do that. That's cheating. Yeah. The intimacy part, to me, intimacy can be with anybody at any given time. I mean, like sitting there divulging secrets to each other. Okay, I do that with my girlfriends. I do that with my guy friends. I mean, intimacy, if you look it up, what the definition of it is, it's a closeness between you and somebody else. It could be just you and one other person. It could be you and 10 other people. Like, it's just a close connection between you and somebody else. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It doesn't have to be emotional or spiritual or whatever. Like, it could be any shape or form. So that's my version of it. Now some of the people I talked to, quite a few people said that intimacy is body to body. A lot of people, I had quite a few people say that spending time together in close contact, including but not limited to cuddling. So to me, that's like relationship wise, okay? But then there's also spending time together in close contact, like, for example, having a movie night with your girlfriends and you're all snuggled up on the couch watching movies. Like, I've done that plenty of times. And then, of course, there's people like myself that said intimacy is having a connection with someone. Um, Sorry, you guys. I just had a stack of papers fall. It's ridiculous. And I'm hanging out here in my, like, sports thingy. But I gotta put my t-shirt on because it's getting cold. I have my windows open because it was really stuffy and hot in here. And, I just wanted to be able to breathe. And now I'm getting chilly because the wind's starting to blow. But anyhow, yeah, so I had quite a few people agree with me saying that just having a connection with someone is a version of intimacy. So yeah. Then there's the whole there's no ring, so there's no harm in what we're doing. To me, that's okay if you were not exclusively seeing somebody. So, for example, when me and Mike first met, I was freely talking to other people. He was talking to other people. But once we had seen each other a few times and spent some time together and had some time together, we both decided, hey, we're going to be exclusive. We're not going to see anybody else. So we're going to delete all of our profiles and, like, tell everybody, hey, I met someone, and just kind of leave it at that. So at that point, even though we were not married or engaged or whatever, we considered ourselves exclusively committed to each other and nobody else. So there's that. People that I asked said that, and it was kind of the same answer-ish. A ring should not define the relationship, because if it's real, then that's all you need. Another person said that being in a relationship means that you're together, ring or no ring. And then one of my girlfriends made a very valid point that some people can't wear jewelry, so they may not have a ring. I know people that are allergic to certain metals, so they can't wear rings. My mother, for one, cannot wear necklaces because she breaks out right here. She cannot wear earrings because her earlobes will swell. And mine do too if I wear, like, what I call the cheap Walmart earrings. But if I wear, like, pure silver or pure gold earrings, my ears are fine. Which I find hilarious because of how my cartilage piercings do not react, and sometimes I put plastic ones in and they don't react. So I find that hilarious, but whatever. So that was like a really good point for them to pull up, Plus there's people that don't wear rings, they get tattoos. Or, being pregnant, your fingers swell so you can't wear your ring, so people wear it on their necklace. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons for why there's not a ring, but if you are exclusively with somebody and you are like, well, we're not married, I can still do whatever I want to, you might need to reevaluate. Because That's not healthy. And then there was friends of the opposite sex, which I could care less. Um, I don't care, especially if I know the person. Like, if I already know them, I don't give a damn. Okay? Now, if it's somebody that you knew before we were together and you guys don't have a history of being together at all and you're just friends, whatever, I don't care. Just make sure I get to know them at some point, I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to be their bestie or nothing, but just give me a heads up like, hey, me and Sally have been buddies since we were like 5. You know? Like, whatever. I don't care. Just, I don't care. I had a couple people say that it's not okay because it's just a bad situation waiting to happen. I had one person say that it happens that, people have friends of the opposite sex, but that you should not be hanging out with them alone. So, okay, what if the person's single? Like, what if I'm best friends with Johnny? Johnny's single. Tell me I shouldn't be hanging out with him? I mean, that makes no sense. Like, okay. Or, like, I have friends who have kids the same age as mine. And they're single or married. Tell me I shouldn't be hanging out with them? Like, to me, that's weird. Like, their kid goes to school with my kid. I'm gonna hang out with them. Fuck you and your rule. Whatever. And this is my favorite part, of course, because it's kind of how I feel. If there's a trust and confidence between partners, then there shouldn't be a problem with your significant other having, friends of the opposite sex. Lastly, red flags. And this is going to be very hypocritical of me for those of you that know my personal life. So, shut up. Red flags in a relationship. Mine is things like hiding things from each other, having an excuse for everything, history of cheating, sudden changes in behavior, violence, addiction issues, or if they don't want their family to know about you after, like, I'm not saying, the first day you're dating, you need to be meeting their parents, but, like, if you haven't met or at least been spoken of to their parents by, say, I don't know, 6 months to a year, there's a problem. Okay? My other thing with that is, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but I have had a situation where my partner did not want their family to know my history. Such as, let's see, well, I'll use an example. It's not true, but say you don't want your family to know that the person you're dating is on welfare, or that they have lived in public housing, or they are in their 30s and never gone to college and have kids from various partners. Like, that's not up to your family. Like, if you're that worried about it, you don't need to be in that relationship. Okay? Like, if you were scared that mommy and daddy are going to be like, oh, they're not right for you because they use the system, or they're not right for you because they've had multiple relationships and had multiple children through these relationships. If I want to be with you and you got multiple kids, one, you better be taking care of those kids. Okay? Two, don't be trash talking their other parent in front of them. If you've had to use public assistance, like how I lived in public housing once upon a time, or having food stamps, or Medicaid, like I do for me and my children right now, because I don't work, and things like that. Sorry, I got a message that popped up, but it was funny. Like, if you don't want mommy and daddy to know that at one point in time, your significant other had hit hard times and had to pull themselves up from the fucking ashes, you need to reevaluate how you perceive people and, how do I say it? And how they've lived their lives. Like, if you can't deal with the fact that somebody had to pull themselves up from the fucking bottom of the barrel because of some shit they went through, and it made them a better person for having to experience that. If you don't want your family to know those things, do you have a problem with it yourself? Like, do you have a pride issue knowing that the person that you are dating, that you care for, had to utilize those resources? Like, does that make you above that person? No. You put your pants on every day, just like I do. So, how does that make me or you any less of a person? It doesn't. So, reevaluate yourself. So, quite a few of my people that answered me had similar feelings. Sudden changes in behavior, like if they were always nice and calm, and your conversations or discussions about like what's going on in life, or like, hey, we need to talk about this because like this ain't good, like this part of the relationship needs to, like, you know, be talked about or whatever, and it's usually a calm, cool, collected conversation. Like, you guys might get a little loud, but there's no violence in it, and then all of a sudden it starts becoming violent. You need to find out what the fuck is going on. Excuse me. You need to find out what the crap's going on. Like, there is something going on, and you need to figure out what it is. You may not like what you find out it is, but you need to find out. If you find out that they have a history of being violent in general, not criminally or whatever, but if they just have a violent history, that might be something you need to reconsider. If the person has kids, but they don't see them, even if it's like my situation where Jimmy sees my kids every other weekend, like right now they're at their dad's. If you personally have kids and you're not seeing them, why are you not seeing them? Are you court ordered that you can't see them? Or are you just choosing not to see them? If you're choosing not to see them, why are you choosing not to see them? If you're court ordered that you can't see them, why are you court ordered? What have you done that has made the court say, no, Joe Schmo cannot go see these kids. What the hell did you do that made a judge set that in place? Addiction issues, like drugs, obviously. And I think one of the girls that I asked said, like, heavy drinking to the point that, like, their whole paycheck goes into liquor. And gambling was a big one. That was pretty much it. Like, the hard drugs, like, you know, the shit that you can get locked up for. Excuse me again. Like, a lot of people said they didn't really care about marijuana and cigarette smoking, but they were more concerned with the hard stuff, like the cocaine, the crack, meth, heroin, and even prescription drugs like painkillers, like opiates and stuff. Those were things that they were like, hey, if you got a history of this, one person told me that they would still be in a relationship with the person if they're, recovered and clean and everything, but they would not ever move in with them and they would never marry them. If that is something you have to stipulate, you might want to reconsider whether or not you even need to be in that relationship to begin with. Just because I feel like if you have to put stipulations on things to that extent, there might be a problem later on. You know what I mean? Having a criminal record was a big one. Now, to me, criminal records have different definitions. So there's criminal records like theft, drunk driving, fighting, racing, drugs, and other forms of violence. So if you have a rap sheet because you're a street racer, whoop-de-doo. Okay? Whatever. I don't care. But if you have a rap sheet for a meth lab and a sex trafficking ring, you can keep going. Like, you can go that way. I don't want to see you. And, like, the things that are harmful, like the drinking and driving and the hard drugs and, like, domestic violence, like beating the crap out of people, those are ones that I am like, no, not happening. Go away. Same with, like, child-related things, whether it's abuse, like beating them, or sexual abuse. Like, you need to get as far away from me as possible because I will hurt you. I will hurt you. So that's a big one on me too. I had quite a few people tell me that. I had one person tell me that if the person that you are interested in dating is, like, over a certain age and still doesn't have their driver's license, that's a red flag. And I would like to point out that I know people in their 60s who have never, ever had a driver's license. And it's not because of a medical condition. It's not because of a rap sheet. They just didn't have any need to drive. They didn't want to have to deal with paying taxes and insurance on a vehicle. They just take a bus, or they walk, or use, like around here we have little public transportation things, or they use Uber, or they just have a family member or a friend take them somewhere because they just don't want to have to pay for it, which I can understand, I guess. One person said that red flag for them was lurking, not really sure what they mean by lurking. I guess maybe like stalking you or having a history of stalking other people, maybe. Um Hiding things from each other, of course, is always something you need to be concerned about. Um Having excuses for anything and everything. So like I didn't cut the grass this weekend because I just didn't feel like it. Okay? Don't sit there and be like, "Oh, I didn't I didn't do this, this, and this because I had to do this, this, and this," and then like you get busted that you didn't do any of the things that you were using as an excuse. Like, it's a little weird, you know? Um and if they have a history of cheating was another big one that a lot of people were like, if they have cheated in the past, they will always be a cheater. Now, I don't know if that's true or not because I've never been with somebody that was a cheater. Well, that's a lie. I found out later on, like a couple years later, that one of the people I dated after high school was indeed cheating on me. But I also found out that they were cheating on me with a girl that was cheating on them with somebody else. So, yeah. I also found out that they were not cheating on me with just one person. So, that was fucking great. Excuse me. I was like, well, that's nice to know. I'm glad, we didn't get any further than what we did, basically. So yeah, if they just have a history of that, then, don't get too invested, I guess, because it's a good chance that you're not the only one. So that's pretty much what I got out of these questions from people. And I can kind of see where people are coming from with some of it, like the whole red flags situation. Like, I can agree with a lot of that. As far as like the addiction and the hiding things from each other and the sudden changes in behavior, like those are things that you need to be like really aware of. Definitely the lying, and like the thing under cheating where one of the people I asked said saying and doing things that you wouldn't do if your partner was present. I don't know, cuz like I know that women talk about things with each other that they're never going to talk about in front of their guys, and vice versa. There's things that guys are going to sit there and talk about with their boys that they are not going to talk to you about, sister. It ain't happening. I know firsthand because there is stuff that Mike talks about with the guys at work and his friends around here where we live that I never knew he talked about it until it come out in a conversation one day, and I'm like, what? Huh? Because he only talks to them about it. I'm sorry I keep playing with my hair. It's a really bad habit. So yeah. Intimacy thing, like, it's not just about contact. Like, it's not just about touching. It can be an emotional thing or a spiritual thing. Like, it can be a connection. Like, you can be, I guess, like, the whole soulmates thing. Like, to me, that's a spiritual thing. You can be spiritually connected to somebody who is 3 times your age because you just have that bond. Okay? I mean, it's ridiculous that some people think it's just a body to body thing. But I mean, everybody's got their beliefs. And like I said with the whole no ring thing, I can kind of see it both ways. Like, a ring should not define you, but at the same time, if you're not exclusively bound to each other, like I said in the beginning when me and Mike started dating, he was still talking to people, I was still talking to people, but once we decided, hey, this thing is going to be real, like we're going to be together, we stopped. Even before I moved in, we stopped talking to other people. And to me, that's how it should be, but that doesn't mean you can't talk to somebody of the opposite sex. Trying to think. But that doesn't mean, get all done up and go to the club and go dance with 5 other guys and then get mad when they think that you wanted them, because you were sitting there egging them on, trying to get them to be excited enough to buy you drinks, and then at the end of the night when they shut everything down, you're like, all right, bye, and you go home. And when they're like, hey, can I have your number, you get all pissy because you know that you're going home and in the morning your boyfriend's going to call you, and these people are going to be like, well, I thought you were single the way you were dancing with me. Like, that's how you get your ass in trouble, okay? So don't be doing that shit. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got, you guys. Like, I don't know. Yeah. If y'all come up with anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. You can comment and all that good stuff. Definitely like and subscribe so I can get some more peoples, so I can get some more content out. And I hope to do another video for Monday. Not really sure what I'm gonna do it about just yet. Those of you that follow me on Facebook and stuff, might just be a chicken video. You never know. But y'all be good. Don't do anything crazy. And just be safe, because shit's getting crazy out there, y'all. Oh, and for those of you that added a noise, you're welcome.